Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and every one of you. This is again our WMC Book Club meeting for the month of September. And this is a program spearheaded by Achi Janet Nang, along with me, Carlos Felipe, TJ Panganiban, who's here with us for the first time in this session, and of course, Amy Balanial. So say hello to our listeners for
Hello.
this
Good morning,
session.
everybody.
Good
Happy
morning.
Friday.
All right. So actually, Janet, so last week you suggested to us a book where that we are about to discuss for this meeting called
Yes.
Indistractable. But before that, let's have a brief background muna about what we did last session in August. All right. So last
Yes.
August
Yes.
we read the book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So we've discussed a lot about it. We actually exceeded the time that we're supposed to discuss it. And you guys can look that up in our fan page at the WMC Book Club. I do hope you like our page and you join us in our discussion because this is a very fruitful and engaging experience, not only for the WMC community, but also for people who love to read books. All right. So for this Friday session that we are recording today, Achi Janet, what will be our topic for this morning?
Yes. So usually the book recommendation is given by somebody who's already read the book. Nir Eyal's Indistractable caught my eye when I was flipping through social media and visiting Mind Valley's social page. No, and I don't know, maybe it's because of the very bright yellow book cover, or maybe it's because of the unusual word that was used as its title. I mean, I've never heard somebody use the word indistractable in the past, no? And so I kind of got drawn to it, and I looked up who the author is. Ano pala siya, the book that he first wrote that led to Indistractable is also colored yellow. It's called Hooked. No, and it is an ideal read for people leading in certain organizations or groups. No,
Maybe we can show the book first so that our viewers can
yes,
see it. All right. So
yeah.
anyway, Achi
So
Janet, sorry for that.
yun. Oo, so no problem. So nakakatuwa in a way and nakaka-depress in some ways because doon pa lang sa when I was listening to him talk a bit about the book when he was being interviewed, I kind of got sobra ako nakarelate. Kasi, and especially now, with the availability of everything within our reach, it is so easy to be distracted. And so I want to find out how to get out of that hole, how to be more productive, because I know I can be more productive if I can remove these distractions from my reach, no? Kasi, and what I loved about what he said is sometimes what you think is what you need to do is distraction. For example, if you are giving time to your family, pero ayan, tawan-tawa si Amy, oh, nakaka-relate din. If you're giving time to your family, pero you're looking through your email because you think it is more important because it is related to work, actually, that part is already a distraction because at that time you should be giving 100% of your focus to your children and your spouse. No, so let's start off. No, what I want to, and I posted some questions in our email. No, what I would like to do right now is to give each one of us maybe about 10 minutes each to answer these questions. No, and go through your own pace. See if some of the questions you don't really need to answer, you can't relate to, you can skip it. Let me read through the questions muna, no? So, number one, I am pretty certain that for most of us, if not all of us, technology ranks in the top 3 distractions that take us away from what we should be focused on in the present. What are the other 2 top distractions for you? And in which part, while reading this book, did the realization set in? Number 2, there was a quote in the beginning that says, we already know what to do. What we don't know is how to stop getting distracted. Why do you think we fall prey to these distractions, often unknowingly? Number 3, what are some of the ways in which you notice the negative effects of these distractions taking their toll? Number 4, what is or are the first steps you are telling yourself to take in order to tackle these challenges? And number 5, which part of rediscovering yourself from the book have you found astounding? So let's go with Amy so that you can kind of give TJ a sense of how we do the discussion. No? Now, remember, let's be careful with our time limit. No? So it's 10 minutes per person. So Amy, kamusta ang iyong soul searching after reading this book?
Yeah, I find this very relatable from the last book that we have discussed. Kasi it talks, the agreements that we talk about, parang application ito. And more on realization kasi relate ako kay Achi. No? Dun sa pagiging busy natin, yung gusto natin, meron tayong gustong gawin, but we are so preoccupied with so many things. So, i-answer ko na yung mga questions ni Achi so that we can get started, no? So, syempre, top is technology because we are using it in all walks of our life, in any moment, in our business, in our socialization. So, that's it. Nandun na talaga yung technology. And the next, number 2 for me is my family, my kids. Especially when I'm doing something and they call me, Ma, I need help, Ma. So, when I was reading this, and towards the end, they were telling us how to apply it within our family. Yeah. Sobrang, I felt so happy because if I will be able to do it, we can give each other time and respect so that each of us can be indistractable in our family. And the third one is I find it, I am myself is a distraction to myself. Kasi why? I have too much going on my mind that I cannot seem to find focus on what I really want at the moment. Diba minsan kasi may mga ganun tendency eh. Parang I set my time, ito na gawin ko today, pero parang may biglang spark of thought, idea. Ay, teka, parang oo nga. So, sabi ko dito, in part 1, master internal triggers. So, parang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko na yes, it all starts with you. Diba? Parang minsan kasi, we try to blame somebody because we are distracted. But really, it is within us. So, sabi dito, no? In chapter 8, it says, we should offer self-compassion, speaking to ourselves with kindness. Diba? So,
I highlighted that.
Yeah. So, ito din yung sa agreements mo na, diba, you have to have compassion with yourself and practice self-talk. So, diba, you have to reinforce the agreement we say to ourselves. So, yun yung number 1 ko. And number 2, we tend to, ayan, sabi doon sa number 2, ng question ng number 2. So, balik ako, yan. So, yes, we already know what to do, pero, diba, parang, in the middle of the distraction, alam mo na eh, pero wala na, nagpadala ka na. Masyado marupok. Diba? You give. Pero alam mo yun, nandun yung feeling of guilt. And sabi ko dito, I tend to entertain so many things that I fail to focus one at a time.
Yeah.
Being a mom, being with our business, being myself, I tend to parang sumasabog ako. I tend to be in so many places at the moment. And sabi ko dito, I have to schedule that. I have really to schedule and time block instead of to-do list. Kasi sabi doon sa to-do list, you have so very long to-do list, you tend to skip. Kasi haba eh. Ito na lang ulit gagawin ko. Ito na lang ulit. Ito na lang. Tapos, at the end, diba? Doon nga, sabi doon sa number 3, I feel so busy. Yun. Saan ko na, saan part ng buhay ko na feel na distracted ako? Yes. Yung feeling of so busy that I don't seem to accomplish anything. And so, super pagod ako. Parang feeling ko, pagod ako. Pero, anong nangyari? Diba? So,
anong na-accomplish mo?
Oo. Tapos sabi ko, oh my God, napagod ako. Ang dami kong sinimulan, pero walang natapos. And, you know, somehow you feel bad. Pero babalik ako sa number 1, I have to be kind to myself and say, okay, try to did good. Do it better next time. So, yun. So, number 4 is, sabi dito, ano bang question nga sa number 4? The first step. Ayun. So, sabi ko dito, so I said to myself, I have to focus on me. Kasi di ba dun sa internal domain, it is really us. When I focus on me and everything, everything else is right. The rest will follow. If I focus on myself, if I fix the flow of thought within me, I know everything else will follow. So I have to practice and apply the time boxing. Kasi nga, may inatinan din ako last time na training that you don't really have to do the things 8 hours, 12 hours, diba? You just have to have a time for that and focus on the task at hand. And then, kung magagawa mo yun, that's great. You don't need to be present at everything, nasabog ka naman. And then, sabi yung the last is which part of rediscovering. So, grabe, sobrang amazed. And yun nga, parang this book just give, parang inire-reinforce lang niya yung agreements that we have to live out. So, sabi ko dito, yung control inputs, not outcomes. Diba? So, it says a lot with fix our thoughts on the things you can control and let go of what you can. So, di ba sabi niya doon, the time that you put into a task is up to you. The outcome is out of your hand. When you give your best to something, the outcome is not really up to you. So, let go. But you have to make sure that when you give that time to that certain task, you do your very best to that. And sabi yun, ang nagustuhan ko dun yung relationship affects longevity. So not just the relationship within your family, it's really relationship with your friends, with your peers. Kasi diba, I am a person who believes that we cannot live by ourselves. Diba? Yeah. No man is an island. So you have to be there for them and you have to be welcoming of the people that is coming into your life. Kasi they are being sent to you for a reason. So yun. So and yung turn your values into time. So talagang alam mo yun, sobrang parang alam mo, relate yung mga books natin and I so love it. So the values are how we want to be, what we stand for, and how we want to relate to the world. So diba, our values, we have to cultivate and you will serve it. Yun yung magiging purpose natin in this life. So, I really love this book. Oh my God. Ako, ang masasabi ko lang dito, medyo kasi ako may procrastinator kasi ako eh. So, 2 weeks So, natapos na yung 2 weeks, saka ko pa lang siya binuksan. And sabi ko, oh my God, I need to write so much. So, yun. And this book is, I really love this book. And yeah, what I will try to do is to incorporate it within our family. So, ang daming sobrang makaka-relate. So, yun po, Achi. That's what
That's
I
beautiful.
think of this book.
And don't feel so bad about, being a procrastinator, kasi I think everybody is guilty of that sometime in their lives, no? I think in certain aspects or areas of our lives, nagagawa talaga natin yun. And to relieve ourselves of procrastination takes a lot of discipline, which is, tao lang po, it's a learned skill. We are not born with that. So, yun, that's beautiful. That's beautiful sharing. So, moving forward, this is an additional question, no? Moving forward, how will you relay and kind of carry over this new learning to your family? Kasi you have very young kids eh. Ang liliit pa ng mga anak mo, di ba? Tapos, maybe if you talk to your husband because, you're on the same page or on the same level, maiintindihan niya. Pero the most difficult part, I believe, is to communicate all these to younger individuals, like little kids, like what you have. So, what do you plan to do with that?
Yes. Natatawa talaga ako, Achi. So, talagang towards the end, talagang I try to reflect on it, and I am trying to associate it with my kids. Kasi the things that he's saying about the kids, about the, yung sabi dito, sinulat ko talaga lahat eh. So, our children needs autonomy,
yes,
strive for competence, and they seek relatedness. I have kasi a 10-year-old, 10 na siya last week. I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. So, nakita ko sa kanya na, yes, they are very drawn to gadgets. Alam mo yun, naging observant. While I'm reading this, I am observing my family. So, dumula ako sa mga kids ko, no? So, yes, my son, he's really into so much of playing Roblox. Simply because he has a friend there, they talk about it, and they relate to each other. So, ako, medyo takot ako dun sa mga internal triggers eh. No? Why is my kid... So, sabi ko, relatedness, hindi na ba kami na-relate? You just try to question yourself because that's life. And I am not a perfect mom. I don't think there's perfect family. So, but what I'm trying to say is, yes, the observation are true. And doon naman sa isa kong anak, because of the gadget, meron siyang autonomy na sinasabi niya na, okay, mom, you want to play? How much time? 15 minutes. Kukuha siya ng timer. Natatawa talaga ako kasi sabi ko, yeah, they are two different kids. Yeah. So, we're individuality. I accept both of them. But the bunso, Mommy, I will play 15 minutes. And then he has a timer, kitchen timer. Kaya tatawa talaga ako dito. Because, yeah. So sabi ko, yeah, if we do this, and yun nga, just last night, kasi talaga, just last night, I'm talking to my son, and kumakain kami, and sabi ko, nag-uusap kami, and I let him talk to me as how he talked to his friends. Minsan kasi I'm telling him, galit, with the tone of stern. Yeah. Kausapin ng ganyan, I'm not your friend, I am your mom. So, yun pala, you should not do that. Diba? Your harmony in the family is with good communication. Kasi ako, yeah, I am born in a very traditional family. You don't talk back. When my parents say, you're done. Diba? And when you tumingin lang, but these kids, this time of the generation that they are. No, you have to listen. So yun, siguro I think this will be a long process for my family and my kids, but this is what I'm trying to do for us. And relate ko lang yun doon sa husband ko, no? He wakes up so early.
Siya ba yung
He wakes
pinakabunso?
up so early. He wakes up so early. And then, they have this issue in the company kasi. And I heard him talk to his colleague 5:30 in the morning. Diba?
Oh, wow.
Sabi ko, Dad, even though you saw the person online, it doesn't mean that you are, diba? The responsiveness, they talk about it here also that when you respond on a timely manner, magiging usual yun. So when you don't answer at that time, diba, it will come back to you. So sabi ko, do it in a time that it's your work time. And sabi ko, even if it's 24 hours yung, kasi sabi ko, it will come back to you when you don't answer at that time. So early, sabi ko, you have to respect yourself and respect others too. And you have to keep boundaries. So diba, I'm applying. Kasi sabi ko, I am also trying to protect each and every one of us. And so that, diba, we have to be indistractable at certain point in our life. So yeah,
that's great.
Ganda. I really like this.
And what's so powerful about what you said is that you were able to apply it right away, and that's great. Thanks for sharing, Amy. Just so our audience will know, how young are your two kids? Ilang taon na yung two boys mo?
So I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Wow,
so ganun sila. Okay. Yes. And we at very early age, syempre sabi, teach the kids how to swim. But no, we gave it. Sige, technology for you. That's a gift that we give to our kids. Akala natin, diba? So yeah, they're so immersed.
Yeah. But it's not yet too late to take it away from them. I mean, gradually teach them yung responsibility of using their time wisely. Yun. Thank you so much. Now we go to TJ. Ayan, TJ, bagong-bago ka. But we in this book discussion, we are very relaxed, no? So go ahead. What do you think of what you have absorbed from this book so far?
Hello, everybody. Before I go with my sharing, first of all, I'd like to thank actually Janet, if I'm allowed to call you that, or Miss Janet, for accepting me in the book club. You know, one thing, when the pandemic started, there was really like a ton of groups on hobbies and all of that. And I'm a bookworm, really. So I was literally looking for a book club where I can join, where I can relate. When Paolo initially posted this in our Telegram GC, I think he said that the first group is already maxed out. That's why I was not able to join the very, very first session. And then I saw a recent post by Pachi Janet, and she said that whoever is interested, please message me. I was just so thankful that, when I opened that, and then when I sent her a message on Facebook Messenger, she readily accepted. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Book, Indistractable. Before I started reading this, I was trying to figure out if I was distracted or if my will is the problem. No, I noticed a difference in my productivity, personal productivity, in my performance in comparison to, the first 2 quarters of this year. So I was trying to be very OC, trying to figure out, am I distracted or is it really my will? After reading this book, it's a validation that much like Amy, I'm distracted. The will really isn't an issue. It's just that I'm just really 100% distracted. So this book was the perfect book for me. Now, in terms of where I am at in my life, so to speak. So to answer Ashley's question that she shared, I like that, by the way. If you guys have noticed, the last few pages of the book, Mir also shared guide questions on how, we can go about sharing our shared lessons or experiences from this book. Top 3 distractions. I think number 1 for me would be attending to, the needs of others. And that becomes like a ripple effect. All of us for sure, like Amy is a parent. I don't know for the rest of I myself am a parent. And every day we wear different hats. No, a
How many
parent,
kids
I
do
look
you have?
after both my
How many kids do you
I
have?
have one.
How
I have
old?
one, a 17-year-old boy.
Okay.
So I have a 17-year-old boy. I look after both my senior citizen parents. I have a team of my own. I even have a mentoring session. So my distraction really stems from attending more to their needs. And it's just really, that's really where it all starts. Now, you want to be able to really help them. Here in Sun Life, we always say that we want to help others shine brighter. So parang yun ba yung nakatatak sa isip ko na, okay, when you have a team, when you're mentoring people, ito na yung hat mo. No? So parang yun na yung mindset conditioning ko na I can't be unavailable to them. No? Parang doon na siya nangyayari. And then from there, yan na, no? Technology comes into play. You want to be able to respond to all of your emails, to all of your texts, to all of your messages, to all of the inquiries. And then, meron ka pang meetings, no? Meetings outside the meetings, and all of that. So, it's like a ripple effect. Yun yung napansin ko lang when I was doing my self-analysis. In application to myself, the biggest realization really came when Nair made mention about the life domains. No, yung tatlong concentric circles, no, dun talaga siya nanggagaling. It's just nice though that when he talked about that, he also mentioned about the different hacks on how we can really, manage these distractions and make sure that, at the same time managing it, we're still able to do, what we intended to do. So yun yung to answer yung question number 1. Question number 2, why is it happening? I think there is this concept that it only takes 21 days to form a habit, 90 days to build a lifestyle. And I think it's easy for us, humans to adapt to something. We've gotten so used to being distracted without us knowing that we're distracted. No, and then there is this saying that if the wheel is not broken, why fix it? Para bang nasanay na tayo na kahit na distracted naman tayo, nagagawa pa din naman natin yung mga gusto nating gawin. Although, we're really stretched, we're burned out, para bang walang, hindi magaan yung feeling mo. Kasi parang lagi kang, you're pulled in 10,000 different directions. Yung 10,000 priorities in a day.
Yeah.
Namamalayan kung effective ka pa ba or efficient ka. No, kasi nga you've gotten really used to that. Question number 3, ano daw yung consequences? And I'm sure all of us can relate to this, no? We want to be there for others, pero ang nangyayari, we neglect ourselves.
Yeah.
No? Just like in Amy's sharing, no? Na we want to be compassionate to ourselves first. Di ba parang, and naisip ko nga yung sa yung pag nasa airplane tayo, no? When they're giving us instructions, pag may emergency and then you have to put your oxygen mask, no? Ikaw muna dapat, no?
Yes.
Before your companion. And that really was a huge analogy na, oo nga, no? In your quest of helping others, pero you're neglecting yourself din. Hindi mo na ma-realize, hindi mo ma-feel yung gratification doon. Kasi parang nakalimutan mo yung sarili mo. So, yung sabi nga doon sa isang sharing doon, yung si April, in one of those chapters, you're burning the candle at both ends, no? Kasi nauubos ka talaga. Yung mga hugot usually na naubos ka. Kasi nga talagang you're giving too much of yourself, pero you forgot yourself. Question number 4, what's the first step that you wanna implement? 2 things yung gusto ko dun sa strategies na binigay niya. 1 is yung time boxing.
Yes.
It's similar to a strategy from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yung time matrix. Urgent, important, not urgent, not important. So I really like that. And naisip ko, I like that book also. I'm doing the time matrix. My problem is that I don't stick to that. No, parang yung kagaya nga ng sabi ni Amy, no? Ito yung sabi mong gagawin mo. But then you do not end up doing it anyway. So that caught my attention again. So I wanted to make sure that whichever principle that I use, time boxing or time matrix, that I really stick to it. Yung another strategy pa that Nir shared with us is yung temptation bundling. No, yung you can naman, no, na you can, while doing your exercise, that's when you can go through your social media feeds or others, no? So parang you manage it at the same time. Question number 5, what was really outstanding for you? I read the book reviews doon, no? Sabi dyan, Nir thou shared unconventional wisdom, true to form. Talagang his strategy talaga, no? While it's relatable, it's also is a huge sense of awareness for all of us. Parang alam na natin, but then not until it was written in this book doon lang tayo nagkaroon ng realization. I'll share my top 3. Number 1 nga, we're distracted because of a discomfort. No, yung like in myself, no, I don't want my parents or my kid to feel that my work is a priority. So I always have that. Parang it's uncomfortable to me, no, when they feel that. Although that's not really happening, it's just this going on in my head. Same thing, no, because I have advisors, I have mentees too. Pero pag feeling ko, if I don't attend to them, they feel neglected. So parang I will not be it will not make me a good leader or a mentor. So yung discomfort ba na yun that's created in my head, that's causing me to be distracted. Yung second pa na astounding dito is yung the definition of fun. Fun doesn't always have to give us, enjoyment. Right? Parang lahat tayo, we all know the definition of fun. It's supposed to be pleasurable. It's supposed to bring enjoyment, but apparently not. No, we just have to find variabilities in our task. No, it just has to hold our attention. I wrote that down, no? Yun yung pinakasinulat ko talaga dito, no? It just has to hold our attention. So hindi ko siya makalimutan. And then finally, merong example dyan sa book, no? Yung replacing your words where I can't versus I don't. No, and you try to change that, with this list down your task and then change your first words between I can't and I don't. That's when you have like a huge realization na, oo nga, no? That this still is very manageable. And then to close nga, no, my sharing, I think yung pinaka really what struck me the most in this book, or yung quote that I wanted to bring with me, Nir quoted William James, "The art of being wise is to know what to overlook." And that really says it all. And that's it for me. I hope I did well in my first share. I'm too nervous.
Yeah, that's great.
You were wonderful. What you shared is really fantastic, and it's really in-depth thinking and discovering yourself all over again. No, you mentioned the discomfort that you feel, kasi so you play different roles in different aspects of your life. You're a mom, you're a daughter, you're a manager, you're an advisor to your clients, and that is just at the top of the list. I'm sure marami pang iba, no? So you mentioned feeling that discomfort, no? Would you say that identifies you as a people pleaser? Kaya ka nakakaramdam ng mga ganung discomfort?
Very good question. I ask myself that. I'm encouraging everybody to, when I mentor people, no, to just really focus on you. And not really be seeking validation from other people. You can really try everything, but then you still can't get the validation from people. And then I was like thinking, wait lang. No, baka ako, nag-shift ako to that. No, parang that was also a good realization for me, Miss Janet. No, baka nga mamaya nag-shift na yung personality ko into being a people pleaser. So nag-self-check din ako, no? It's good to a certain degree, but then it can also be very distractful or very destructive for us, no? If we just really, if we become complete.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate, I'm sure I speak for Kaloy and Amy as well, that you were able to open up so much in your first time joining us in this discussion. So maraming salamat. Now, we go to Kaloy. Kamusta, Kaloy? Meron ba dito habang na nagbabasa ka? Because you know, I know from our last discussion, naalala ko yung na-share mo na challenge mo in being at home and having that day-to-day interaction with your parents, and somehow them wanting you to be with them, no, kahit na sa hapagkainan lang, but you were too busy with something else at hindi mo naiintindihan kung ano yung gusto nila. Naalala ko yun eh. So what have you learned from Near that you know, maybe helped you overcome that particular area in your life, and also the answers to the questions that were posted?
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful question, actually.
Naput on
Gusto ko
the
yung may
spot ka ba?
reference point na tayo from our last 3 discussions. No? So yun, well, for me naman, this particular book, if on the previous first and second book natin, Achi Janet, sabi mo sa amin, you want to throw the book out kasi it's really resonating sa atin. Ito naman,
Yeah.
this is the book that I want to throw out. Gusto ko iba to. Maybe I am coming from a position of a millennial, of someone who is still with his parents, ano, and maybe I can speak for people of my age na rin, ano. We lived in a world wherein we are so full of distraction na. I was listening to a talk given by Conan O'Brien. I don't know if you've known him. He's a comedy guy in the United States, and he gave a talk sa Oxford Union. And sabi niya, he really, itong generation namin, naaawa siya sa generation namin dahil itong generation namin, unlike the generation before na you can be blissfully ignorant about what's happening, about what other people think about you. Pero kami hindi. Kasi we're already exposed to people, yung mga bashing, yung mga ganyan. Ngayon lang naman nauso yun eh. Di ba? Dati sa atin lang naman yun eh. Di ba? Kung gusto mo ilabas yung sama ng loob mo, ipopost mo na lang. Tapos yung ibang tao makakabasa pa nun. So, we are really living in a world right now wherein everything, if not everything, is a distraction to us. And I think isa doon sa mga the thing that I got that struck me the most, and talagang tumatak sa akin while reading this book, ano, is yung idea about the word traction. Kasi at the onset, sabi nga ni Achi Janet kanina, no, na yung word na indistractable, parang it's the first time that we'd heard about it eh. Parang it's a word just Near just created it eh. Pero if you look at it closely, there's actually a root word pala nun, which is traction. So traction is basically, according to him, the action that moves us towards what we really want. And I think to answer the first question natin, ano, which is what are my top 3 distractions on a personal level? Number 1 is really technology at the onset, because even at the current disposition natin sa buhay natin, technology is still a double-edged sword eh, sa atin. Most especially sa amin na mga millennials, kasi ang nangyayari nga ngayon, because we already are having a hard time managing it already. I have some of my colleagues na, yung mga kaidaran ko, they choose to either stop using muna or i-deactivate muna yung Facebook or Messenger. May mga ganun na sa amin eh. Kasi we can no longer control it eh. Yung urges at saka yung the way that it's distracting and also addicting na on that end, ano. Tsaka it's very, yung the news that you hear every day about the noises, the the pandemic, it's so it's so negative na. So we choose to shun ourselves out of that distraction. Another thing na on a personal note rin, that I'm experiencing right now is actually boredom. So these are for us kasi like for example ako, I'm not I know how it feels like na I have nothing to support I have nothing to, unlike a parent, 'di ba? Na andito yung mga anak ko, andito yung mga ano ko, kasi kami kasi wala. I mean ako, I can talk about it personally. Ako wala. So yung pangarap ko sa buhay, alam ko nandiyan yan. Alam ko pupunta ako diyan, pero nakakatamad Parang because of the lockdown and what have you, hindi ako makalabas. I'm sure yung mga anak ninyo, Amy, TJ, and Achi Janet, ganun rin, 'di ba? Yung nabuburyong na sa bahay, 'di ba? Yung medyo annoyed na, 'di ba? So yun yung feeling namin ngayon yung boredom na dinadala nito na nasa bahay lang kami, nasa kwarto lang kami, and then every day it feels like it's the same for us, for me personally. And last thing dun sa isa kong is loneliness. So I'd like to talk about it not on the sense na parang I'm not talking to anyone, but it's the time at night we're just alone and we are on our own. Diba na parang yung feeling na what did I do today? Was it any good? Was it yung judgment starts to creep in na am I able to be ako ba ay naging mabuting anak nung umaga? Meron ba akong naagrabyadong tao? Meron ba akong hindi nagawa? What could have been better na nangyari sa akin nung araw na yon? So I see you ladies are smiling, so may mga gano'n rin, no? So hindi lang pala sa akin, di ba? Yung feeling na gano'n, di ba? So yeah, loneliness in the sense na parang you are helpless, na I already did what I've done, and I could have gotten more, or I could have given more, pero hindi ko nagawa. So yung mga judgment na yun, mga anxieties that's happening sa atin all around us. So yun yung nakaka-apekto. Kaya it's really distracting me from my ultimate goal for the things that I really want to build on myself, and not only for myself but also for the people who I love and who are around me. So for the second question naman, okay, I skipped that. Hindi pala ito yung nabasa ko. What's the second? Wait
So
lang,
second question is
What's the
about
second
the
question?
quote. We already know what to do. What we don't know is how to stop getting distracted. Why do you think we
All
always fall prey to these distractions?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Achi Janet. I lost the questions in my
No, it's
iPad. So
okay.
anyway, all the while I thought that technology was the root cause ng aking problem. I like the discussion, I think it was in chapter 2 or chapter 3, na nagbigay ng allegory si Nair Eyal about a pool table. So parang billiard sa atin, 'di ba? For those of us who are listening, yung billiard, 'di ba? So sino ba talaga yung nagpasok ng 8 ball doon sa butas? It's not the white ball, 'di ba? It's not the cue stick, but it's actually the person who
Holds the stick.
Who holds the stick, 'di ba? Sa nangyayari kasi sa atin ngayon, and even ako, I used to blame either other people or the environment about what's currently happening sa buhay ko. Pero we tend to forget that these are things that are just the proximate cause. Or yung sa batas nga natin, sa insurance code, ang tawag doon, proxima causa. What is the initial cause of the event that happened? So ang nakakalimutan ko madalas is yung ultimate cause noon, or the root cause na sinasabi ni Nair, which is ako naman talaga, di ba? So I've taken responsibility out of myself and blamed it on other people or in the circumstance that I am in. So I think that's what's happening rin right now, di ba? That we tend to lose focus on what is really the cause of it all, which is actually our reaction and our ano tawag dito, yung talagang naging main point natin sa buhay natin, na teka lang, kaya ako nararamdaman to kasi ako to. So yung mga judgment na yon sa akin galing, hindi galing dun sa boss ko, hindi galing dun sa naka-lockdown tayo ngayon, hindi galing sa gobyerno ko, kundi sa akin pala. Kasi we tend to forget that we should be responsible citizens and we should be responsible people for our own ano tawag dito, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being natin, yung holistic being natin as a person. No? So, yun yung, I think that's the answer to my second question. And I'm still looking for the other question. I'm so sorry.
So number 3 is, what are some of the ways in which you
Yun.
notice the negative effects these distractions are taking their toll?
The idea about willpower. Doon sa chapter na yon diniscuss ni Nir na for the longest time, people thought that willpower is finite lamang. Di ba? Na para hanggang dito lang ako, pagka na-exhaust ko na to, sige na, bahala na buhay. Di ba? But dito, tama yung sinabi ni TJ a while ago, this is really unconventional wisdom that what he's saying, di ba? Because initially, akala natin nga, willpower, hanggang dito ka lang. Pag hindi mo na kaya, suko ka na. Pero dito pala, sa inaano niya, willpower is not only flexible, but it's also an infinite source of power. Pero, yun nga lang this is only for people who think and who feel that willpower is infinite. But for those na ang mindset talaga is finite lang ito. Finite lang talaga siya. So it's actually our judgment and our feeling about willpower. I think dito po nanggagaling yung negative effects na nararamdaman natin. Akala natin hanggang dito na lang tayo. But the thing that I did for me to realize that willpower is infinite is yung identity ko before. I did an activity with myself while in my room because I saw this video on TikTok na parang imagine yourself as a 7-year-old. And that 7-year-old you is walking towards you from your room. Tapos papaupuin mo siya sa lap mo, tapos sasabihin mo sa kanya, this person, this 7-year-old you, is asking you questions. What would be my life in your age, nung time mo? Ano yung pagdadaanan ko? Parang, Kuya Kaloy, ano pagdadaanan ni Batang Kaloy moving forward? So parang, doon ako naantig, sabi ko, since I know where I came from before, and then if I still have that mindset or mentality na dito ako papunta, hindi ako maniniwala. Sasabihin ko, kung ako yung 7-year-old person ko, sasabihin ko sa'yo, hindi nga, naging ganyan ka. Galing mo naman, parang di ako naniniwala. Pero that's it di ba? Nandito ka na eh.
Yeah.
So, we fail to appreciate, we're so fixated about what would happen in the future that we tend to lose sight on what happened in the past, where we come from.
Yeah.
So, I think, doon nagsisimula yung distractions natin na parang hindi ko na kaya, hanggang dito na lang ako. Pero hindi, kung tinignan mo yung perspective mo and yung sabi nga ni Amy kanina, 'di ba, yung connectedness mo from where you came from, makikita mo ang layo na pala na narating natin eh. And I think yung pagiging myopic natin doon sa vision of what we really want to be and who we really want to be, doon nagkakaroon ng mga proximate causes, doon nagkakaroon ng mga distractions sa buhay. If we tend to lose sight about our potential, about what can be more, what can be better in the future. So that's my answer for the third one. The fourth one, I saw the questions already. Thank you for that. What are the steps that I am telling myself to take in order to tackle this challenges? So number one for me, it's awareness. It's really awareness. For the past 4 years of my life already, this has been my struggle talaga, is the creating the awareness of who I really am and what I want to be. Okay? Kasi for the longest time, there are people who are telling me, Kaloy, you're good, you're better, you can be this one. Pero that's the thing eh. These are what other people want for me. That I tend to lose sight about ako. Ano gusto ko para sa sarili ko? Ano gusto ko para mapatunayan ko yung sarili ko? And doon rin pumapasok yung idea na about my view on parenting. Kasi for instance, I know all of you ladies here are mothers already, and I know for a fact that coming in from my mom rin na I want what's best for my kids. 'Di ba? Yung idea na I want what's best for my kids. Pero let's also look at the fact, and I'm speaking maybe as a child here, as a son, that maybe you can also ask your children about, how about you? What do you want to be? Because I want what's best for you. Pero I cannot determine that best for you pero pag hindi mo alam kung ano yung best para sa'yo. Kasi baka may misalignment tayo. And I think doon nanggagaling yung miscommunication within a family. Doon nanggagaling yung idea na yung nagpe-prevent sa atin from taking that first step. I love what Nir told us at the end of the book, that really for you to start ano tawag dito, para hindi ka na ma-distract sa root cause mo at saka do sa mga proximate cause na everything that's around us, is really to create a pact, PACT, di ba? Creating a pact or an agreement sa atin between not only ourselves, initially for ourselves, but then towards our relationship and then towards our work or our career, diba? I think that's basically the first step, creating the agreement for yourself, for your relationships, and for your career or what you want to get out of in this life. And moving towards that at the end, which part nung book na ito, have I rediscovered myself and have I found something astounding? Yung idea about hacking back or taking our life back to ourselves. Yeah. Ang ganda ng background ng author natin kasi he came from the same environment kung saan nag-create itong mga apps, yung mga technology na to that tends to, parang yung addiction causing ng mga apps, doon siya nanggaling. So alam niyo yung perspective nung mga kumpanya na ito. And I love what he created kasi ako I'm a bit of a nerd rin myself. So gumawa siya di ba ng equation which is behavior is equal to motivation, ability, and triggers. Ang pinaka nag-strike sa akin is the last one because the first two, I don't know if you've also read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear and Mindsets by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. So yung sinabi rin niya, he was actually quoting some of these books nung ginawa ni Nair Nir yung book niya. And I love yung description niya about triggers, which is triggers are basically telling us what to do next. Kasi yung idea na okay, motivated ka, you have this ability to facilitate that action, to do something even better. Pero pag nagawa mo na yon, paminsan, and I'm speaking also as an advisor here, pag na-achieve mo na yon, parang okay na eh. What's next? Yun yung trigger eh. Yung idea na what's next, ano dapat kong gawin sa susunod, nawawala iyon pagka hindi handa yung trigger. Yun yung basically ang light bulb moment ko na parang oo nga, kaya ako madalas nai-stuck sa mga ginagawa ko sa buhay. So, yung tipong I'm already a medallion qualifier, I'm already a Macaulay, I'm going towards MDRT. So parang what's next? Pag nawawala iyon, nawawala yung motivation, nawawala yung ability natin. So there must be a trigger and that trigger must be working for us and not against us. So yun yung pinaka nag-work sa akin, yung pinaka light bulb moment ko doon sa discussion nito. Well, at the end of it, I really love the book. Munti ko nang iba to. Kasi aray. Sobrang aray siya sa akin. So yun lang. Thank you for this sharing, and I do hope for our audiences who are listening to us na you get some ideas, and hopefully in the future, and if you'd like our discussion in this group, feel free to send us a direct message or a personal message so that you can join us in our next session. Diba, Ate Janet?
Yes. Great. Thank you, Kaloy. there's something that kind of stood out, and I feel it's because of the difference in our profile. Kasi here you are surrounded by mothers
Yes.
na
My
medyo
mother.
yung mga anak of different age groups, no? So we've
Yeah.
got Amy, who has very, very young kids. We've got TJ, who still has a teenager. Ako naman, young adults na, no? So what I kind of what stood out from all that you've shared, that I felt I need to zero in, is yung sinasabi mong the loneliness that you feel at the end of the day when, you know, lights out na, wala nang, you know, everybody in the household is already asleep, so wala nang nanggugulo sa'yo, no? And you're left with your own thoughts, no? Kami kasi, I think TJ and Amy could relate, no? Can agree with me. At the end of the day, we feel physically exhausted, no? Because we have so many people to take care of. And kung buti ako, young adults na, they can fend for themselves na. Pag hindi ako nakapaghain ng dinner, bahala na silang maghanap ng kakainin dyan. Sabi nga ng isang kaibigan ko, hindi naman mamamatay sa gutom yung mga anak mo pag ilang beses kang hindi magluto. Hayaan mo na sila, no? So kami, we end the day physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. So mabilis for us to drift off to sleep, no?
Yeah.
Ikaw, you're stuck in this empty hole, no? Na at times the loneliness sets in, and you tend to judge yourself. You tend to judge yourself na sayang if I did this better, baka mas maganda ang naging resulta. You tend to go back, di ba? Sa mga nagawa mo na feeling mo kulang or feeling mo hindi mo na-accomplish. And I'd like to use what Amy shared kanina and maybe somehow help you here, no? Sabi kasi niya kanina, in every task, and I'm paraphrasing here, in every task, you do your best. Para pagkatapos nung task na yun, pag na-accomplish mo na, tapos ka na. And alam mo na you gave your best. What you can control is the input. The output is really out of your reach na, out of your hands na, 'di ba? Ang importante is alam mo na ibigay mo lahat. Na ibigay mo yung nararapat, na ibigay mo yung tama. Kung ano man ang mangyari, if it involves other people making decisions, ano man ang mangyari, hindi mo na hawak yun. So, at the end of that task, at the end of the day, no regrets. Yan. Gustong-gusto ko yung shinare ni Amy kasi ako, I'm the type of person that I don't do regrets, no? Kahit na kulang ang naibigay ko, I don't regret, but the person I have to blame is just myself. Parang ganun ako. So I hope that that's able to help you somehow relieve yourself of that judging yourself, getting into that self-pity, guilt trip mode. No, we need to remove that. Yeah.
Actually,
Yes,
can I just
Amy.
medyo I feel I myself is a feeler. So medyo na-struck ako doon sa at the end of the day, I feel loneliness because siguro babalik ako sa pagkabata, siguro limot ko na nakailang cesarean kasi ako and looking at my kid, at the end of the day, kasi nagre-reflect ako how I will call you saying things like this kasi we are at home. So sinasabi ng anak ko, at the end of the day, minsan nag-aaway kami, yung mga reaction nung nag-aaway kami talaga. Sabihin ko, ganun ako I am your mom. Talk properly, ganyan. Towards the afternoon, nakita ko siya, nag-shift siya. Doon sa nag-shift siya na, parang sinasabi ni Kaloy, naging mabait ba ako? And then, he's asking me, Mom, did I do good today? Mabait ba ako today? Sabihin ko sa kanya, konti lang. Kasi may mga ano kami in the middle of the day. And then,
Yeah.
yung sinabi ni Kaloy that when at night they sleep. Kasi binabalikan ko yung sarili ko, parang I can't remember na. Siyempre, di ba, sabi nga, we live in a different time. And siguro, I look at my son, eldest kasi, and siguro, there was a feeling of like that nga talaga. At the end of the day, they were telling themselves, did I do good? Diba? And balikan ko din yun sa book na sinasabi na the Mayan people, they let their kids go. Bahala kayo. Because the parents know they could tend themselves. But as ako, pinalaki ako na, yung parang laging, bawal dyan, bawal dyan. So ako, ganun yung ginagawa ko sa mga anak ko. And yeah, relate ako kay Kaloy kasi I am thinking of how I will be able to be a good parent to my kids. Diba? So, medyo may konting mga luha. Kasi oo nga, parang feeling ko, kasi syempre, diba, like TJ, we have different hats. But at the end of the day, I'm still a parent. And siguro, beyond I want to be successful in our career, I want to be successful in giving this to my kids the time that they have. Minsan sasabihin ko sa asawa ko, lalabas muna ako. May kubo kasi sa labas. Doon na muna ako. And then he said, no, stay home. Hindi naman sila magtatagal na ganyan. And looking at Kaloy, parang feeling ko, yung sinasabi niya, kakausapin niya yung 7-year-old niya. Oo, sabi ko tama. Basta, I really love this, I learned a lot from the book and I learned a lot from the sharing. Sabi nga ni Achi, iba-iba tayo ng, di ba, we live in different, generations. So, sobrang relate. Kung may mga luha ako, Kaloy.
Sa susunod, maglalagay na ako ng background music.
Yung mga Iroma,
yung mga MMK, pang Dear Ate Charo, mga ganon.
Actually, just to add about my thank you for that Achi Janet, and for Amy for validating that. The sharing that I did a while ago is not only on my own, but it's also coming in from a lot of my colleagues and mga same age ko kasi ito kasing panahon ko na ito, since we're all online na nga, we like for example, later tonight I'm going to have another inuman session with my mga kaibigan, and we talk about this a lot, na it's not just ako lang pala na feeling that, na yung feeling na parang everything is the same. Are we really good children? Am I able to provide for my parents when they're they no longer can? Yung mga ganun na feelings na parang we sort of lost track of it because of our current disposition na sa buhay natin. So maybe it's just for me it's really an eye opener kasi for me, I not only talk or converse with my own age group, but a lot of my friends and a lot of my yung mga na-meet ko online are actually older than me. So these are board of directors already and retired people na parang there is really a disconnect about the feelings and judgments na meron tayo versus the other, hindi naman versus, pero against other generations, na parang ako I'm in the theater watching all of these things happening, na parang I get to have a front row seat about ito feeling ng parent, ito ang ano ko, because sa ganitong age ako, ito yung mga younger people. That's the reason why rin, if you notice, the younger generations tend to work or parang stay up late all night. Kasi doon lumalabas yung mga feelings na to, na umaga, pagkaharap namin kayo, hindi namin ma-express. Sa gabi kami nakakapag-reflect. Sa gabi kami nakaka-realize na, okay, ganito buhay ko, ganito ano ko. So, I think I'm coming from that space na I'm able to see all of these things dun sa perspective ko. Yeah.
The best part about this is that we are made aware of these things, these and many times subtly these things creep up into our lives na hindi natin alam na, ay nako, we're getting into this kind of behavior or this kind of habit, hanggang sa hindi na natin namalayan, it's already embedded in our character, no? So ang kagandahan nito, especially with reading books like these and also having this open discussion, is we are made aware of these situations and we know what to do about them. Ayan. So my part naman, actually, when I saw this book, no, so this was probably 2 months ago, over 2 months ago. I started, I mean, I heard him speak, I heard Nir speak on social media. I started doing certain minute changes in my life already. So meron ng konting pagbabago. Tapos all the more when I got deeper into the pages of his book, naging aware ako sa mga iba pang kailangan kong gawin. But to answer the series of questions, yung other distractions in my life, actually, the life domains, me, relationships, and work, those are distractions if not put in their proper place and time. Kasi I could be working and then all of a sudden, my bunso would be coming in, tapos na pala siya ng online class niya. Mommy! Eh, nakita niya, wala naman akong ka-meeting. I'm just, doing desk work. Mommy! Tapos sabihin ko, sandali lang. Tapos sabihin niya, Mommy, whole morning na nga ako hindi lumabas, tapos ngayon lang ako lumabas after my class, hindi mo ako papansinin, i-guilt trip naman ako, no? So, I have to put these 3 domains in their proper place. Yan. So, yun yung tatlong na-realize ko na distraction ko yun. And then, why do I fall prey? Because it's part of my life. So, if I am not made aware that they cause distraction, they are the distractions because pumapasok sila wrong timing, kumbaga, ang pagpasok nila sa araw ko or sa time of day ko, then wala na, I give in, diba? And then, what are some of the ways in which I notice the negative effects of these distractions? I love feeling the exhaustion at the end of the day. No, yung pagod na pagod ako, gustong-gusto ko yung feeling na yon. Except if I know the exhaustion came from unproductive activities. Like for example, yesterday, I had 2 meetings set yesterday with sa morning is with department heads of a client, a corporate account, no? Sa afternoon naman, mancom ng isa ring corporate account. So, I have to, yung morning presentation yon, yung afternoon review of the programs that we've already set up. They've been a client for magta 10 years ng client ko. So, it's an annual review that I do with them. So obviously, I have to prepare the visual presentation, and while doing all of that, while sharing the visual presentation, I have to speak, and then I have to be very alert kasi may mga questions. So kailangan alam kong paano sagutin, no? I prepared for them. I know I did a great job because I answered all the questions, and at the end of the meeting, nagpapasalamat sila. In fact, after we got out of the meeting, yung morning na company, isa doon nag-text pa sa akin, thank you for, thank you for accommodating us. No? So I really feel appreciated. Pagod na pagod ako, I did very minimal desk work, and yung mga desk work that I had to do for these 2 accounts, kasi I always send an email which includes which contains the summary of what we've discussed, no? Para meron silang reference to go back to. So, minabuti kong ipabukas yung email na yon kasi wala na, I was really exhausted. But it was a very good kind of exhaustion. However, there are days na natatapos yung araw na feeling ko, bakit pagod na pagod ako? Wala naman akong natapos na masasabi kong I can be proud of. Kahit na sabihin mo nakapagluto ako ng dinner na na-appreciate ng mga anak ko, sabi nila sarap na sarap sila. Wala! Hindi ko siya nagawa. So, yun yung nagiging negative effect sa akin. No? And then, what's the first step you are telling yourself to take in order to tackle these challenges? Actually, there's something that popped out. And it kind of caused a ripple effect within myself, no? When I read through I think this is somewhere in the middle of the book, sabi ni Nir, about commitment, no? And he was talking about pre-commitment. Sabi niya, teach others to solidify commitment. And tell others what you've learned and you are doing. So technically, di ba sabi nila, if you're teaching, if you're a speaker and you're teaching or you're providing information to 100 people, actually, it's 101 people who is learning kasi you are also learning or relearning what you have accumulated, no? Knowledge that you've accumulated in the past. So that's my long list. That's my very long list, no? So, ang dami pa actually, marami pa yata akong pwedeng isulat dito. And it's encouraging to know that all of us have learned from this. Not only from the book, but also from hearing being present in this discussion and listening to each other. Ayan. So, maraming salamat. Everybody, and we will be talking about what our next book is later on after our recording, but so far we've reached our time limit. Happy weekend, everybody. Kaloy, would you like to make that announcement again as to where they can reach us, how they can reach us if anybody's interested to join?
All right, so we've heard a lot of sharings for this September session. If you guys who are listening to us right now are interested in joining us for our October edition, please feel free to message us at our like page, the WMC Book Club, or you can send a DM or a PM to Achi Janet Nang or to me, Kaloy Felipe, in Facebook. So with that, we thank you again for accommodating us for 1.5 hours of your day.
Again?
Again. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and every one of you. Please stay safe. We're still in a lockdown. Please take care of your health and of your family. God bless you, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.